Hey, I'm Chase, and this is All Things Random. Things are a little bit different because I got better things to do than to make this video, but I just got so irritated, so frustrated about the things that are going on with Rolex and their new Submariner. Now, a lot of people have touched on this. I wasn't going to, but I just got pissed off. So, I'm gonna rant. Now, right now, I am in the middle of literally rebuilding my garage for a space so that we can have a small gym. I bought my wife a Peloton bike on credit for her birthday, and we need a space to put it. So this is actually a wall I just put up to separate the garage, so it's a little echoey in here. This is what I'm working on this week. And like I said, I wasn't going to make this video. But let's talk about the new Rolex Submariner line and why I would never purchase them. One, people were upset in 2010 when the maxi case came out, when the thinner lugs and the slimmer case of the 40mm Submariner, the 5-digit prior variant before the maxi case 6-digit variant came out. Now a lot of people were upset because they said, hey, this bulkier, though still 40mm case, have wider lugs, fits a little larger on the wrist, and you know what? Some people loved it and some people hated it. Me, myself, I didn't mind it at all. I love the older style Rolexes. However, I liked the newer style of the maxi cases because it had that ceramic bezel insert as opposed to the old aluminum ones. Now, that is neither here nor there. Now, when the new Submariners were released September 1st, and they not only increased the size from 40mm to 41mm, some people were like, hey, that's the next progression in what they should do. Now, Rolex over time have been slowly evolving the collection. They don't just throw out something random and crazy. They are like human evolution. It's a slow, progressive thing that happens over time. It's an airplane. Living in Alaska, I literally have bush planes fly over my house constantly. When I make these videos, I mean, literally, I'm stopping all the time to wait for the planes to stop flying. I also live right up against the mountains. So they come in, turn around, and then land on a couple of the little landing strips we have here in Anchorage. Now, back to what I was saying. So like any progression and evolution, Rolex does it slowly, which is fine. That's what they should do. However, a lot of people, when they got upset that the maxi case came out and they were, irritated that there were thicker lugs, well, then they released the 41mm. Not only is it slightly bigger, but some people are praising the fact that the lugs now are thinner. Okay, so the case got bigger and the lugs got thinner, but the prior 6-digit had a maxi case that had basically the same size of case, but the lugs were a little bit thicker. So to me, it's like a tire and a rim. The tire is 35 inches, and hey, I have a 16-inch rim in the inside. Well, let's increase it to 17 inches. Like nothing's changed. Like, the only thing that I think that really pisses me off more than anything is they got rid of the Hulk and they brought back the Kermit, but not really the Kermit, because the Kermit was the 50th anniversary of the Submariner, and it was, a limited version of the 50th anniversary. And now they brought back basically the black dial, green ceramic bezel Submariner. Well, that's fine, but again, that's not what makes me mad. Now, there's just not a whole lot going on when it comes to Rolex. They hype up all this stuff. Now, the Oyster Perpetuals, that's cool. They got a lot of cool colors on there. Fine, that's not what we're talking about. I'm a Submariner guy, right? I'm a Submariner or Datejust or Daytona. I like sports watches and I like dress watches. Not really a big fan of the Oyster Perpetual. It's a good watch to get into watch collecting. However, it's just not my thing. I really don't care about all the pastel colors. It's just, again, not my thing. But a dive watch is. And the one thing that drives me nuts is just a couple days after they released their new line of watches, the ceramic green bezel black dial Submariner, the Smurmit, or the Cermit, like ceramic and Kermit. I don't know. Paul Thorpe called it the Shrek, but I like Cermit better. It just sounds just as dumb as the prices that people are putting out there for these new watches on the gray market. Now, my Rolex Hulk, my buddy again keeps like, hey, dude, $22,000, $23,000. When I picked it up for under $10,000 back in 2011, that's a great investment. I would make a lot of money if I sold it, but I'm not going to sell it. These brand new stainless steel Submariners are selling on the gray market, or at least they're being put up at a premium price on the gray market, like Chrono 24, for like $28,000. $28,000. Oh man, people are crazy, right? There's a country song. It says, God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. I'm not going to sing it for you because I don't have a singing voice. But $28,000 for a new Rolex Submariner that retails at like $8,500. So you're paying 3 times the price just to have your hands on a new watch. That's not worth it. Do you know how many stainless steel dive watches I have? All of them are stainless steel dive watches, except like my bronze dive watch. I think that if I was going to spend $30,000, I'd buy Patek Philippe. I wouldn't buy a Rolex Submariner. I don't care how hot it is, because it's not hot. I would rather go back to the 50th anniversary and buy it for $10,000 or $11,000 used than I would spend $30,000 on a Rolex Submariner that has no value at all when it comes to that price. Now people could say, yeah, but the Rolex Hulk also doesn't have the value of $22,000, $23,000. If it's out there on the market for $30,000, the Rolex Hulk is not worth that either. I absolutely agree with you, but they're not making the Rolex Hulk anymore. They stopped and replaced it with the Smurmit. So because they replaced it with the Smurmit, that's a brand new watch that will continue to be in production over the next however many years. They didn't just stop making it. And yet I could buy a limited version Hulk for cheaper. I could buy a limited version of the Kermit for cheaper. I could buy a Kermit and a Hulk for the same price that people are willing to pay for the Smurmit. Ridiculous. This is just a quick rant. I had to get that out there. Really pissing me off that people are just out of their mind. And I think that Rolex made a huge mistake when it came to their dive watches. I think that all the hype to really bring back nearly nothing, they didn't bring anything new to the table other than the fact that they did update the movement. The 3135 caliber has been in their watches forever, and they finally put in the new updated movement. Great, that needed to happen anyway. But to upsize the case to 41 millimeters, which a lot of people already complained that the maxi case, which is 40 millimeters, was too big, so you just made it bigger. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I get putting a ceramic bezel, green bezel. I get wanting to re-release the Kermit or the Smurmit because ceramic does keep its luster, right? The watch is going to look newer for longer, whereas if you look at the older style Kermits, like they do have patina, the bezel does fade over time, and some people don't like that. I get it. I understand. But really, $30,000 gray market? Come on. Now I have more videos coming out this week, so make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. I do not like making these rant videos because clearly I'm right in the middle of doing something else. But man, it has been eating me alive, this Rolex release. It has just been eating me alive. I am a huge fan of Rolex, but I would never pay $30,000 for one. There are so many better watches for $30,000. I would never buy a Rolex. I don't even care if it's a Rolex Daytona. I would never buy, unless it's Paul Newman's personal watch, the one that sold for like $12 million. Yeah, I would pay $30,000 for that. I mean, someone's willing to pay $12 million for that, but $30,000 for a Rolex, that has no decoration on the movement. It is a workhorse movement, but there's no decoration on it. And there are some quality control issues, some can argue, when it comes to Rolex, when it comes to their bezels lining up, when it comes to the rehaunt lining up with everything. And those are just known. You can Google it. There's so many videos out there where people are like, oh, that's because it's not real. It came right from Rolex and they just missed. Anyways, guys, I hope you like this rant. Hopefully there's not many more in the future. I'm gonna get back to fixing this wall. There's a lot more videos coming up in the future. So make sure you guys are hitting that notification bell so you guys can be notified when I drop my next video. Until next time.
Of the United States of America.
United States of America.
And to the republic.
For which it stands.
One nation.
Under God. Justice. Indivisible.
With liberty.
With liberty.
And justice for all.
And justice for all.